Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. As OTAs, training camp, and minicamp get underway, I'm going to be doing a new series, basically a versus series. Now, this series is going to be guys that are battling in camp for jobs, maybe, the last spot on the roster, maybe third on the depth chart, second on the depth chart, to start on the depth chart. And we're going to start off with no other than, I think, the hottest battle, the most intense battle, a really, really important battle as well on the depth chart, and that will be cornerback number 2. It's going to be between Alontae Taylor and Paulson Adebo. Maybe Roby can win it. Maybe Lonnie Johnson can win it. Maybe some random guy can win it. But 99.9% chance that it's going to be Alontae Taylor starting at cornerback 2, or it's going to be Paulson Adebo starting at cornerback 2. Now, both guys are going to have a case for it. Both guys are going to have probably equal opportunity to earn this starting job. And I'll kind of talk about, both guys and who I think is going to win the job ultimately. I think it's very easy to talk about Alontae Taylor. The Saints drafted him in the second round last season. Was a big shock to everybody. Me, personally, I didn't think we needed the cornerback, but the way he played, the way we were injured, I was so glad we drafted him, and he played excellent in the games he did play. As you can see, I got this Cardinals game going in the background. He was super, super good against Hopkins, man. I think that was his first start, if I remember correctly. You're going against Hopkins, one of the best receivers in the NFL. You're making your first career start, and you held your own. That's a really, really good job. Then he went against Devontae Adams, was really good against him. But then, later in the season, for some reason, Paulson Adebo came back, and Paulson Adebo took that spot. But throughout Alontae Taylor's time on the field, man, he was aggressive. He was making the right reads. He was really, really good on the field. I think he had a solid rookie season. Now, obviously, the injuries kind of derailed him. He started off with injuries. Once he got healthy, he played great. But then it was kind of not benched towards the end, but Lattimore came back. So, he just wasn't in that outside corner role to start. So that leads us to Paulson Adebo, a guy, as a rookie, was basically just as good as Alontae Taylor. I think Alontae Taylor peaked higher than Paulson Adebo's rookie year, but Paulson Adebo had the better rookie year overall just because he was out there longer, and he was a really, really good cornerback too for a rookie that missed the entire year of football because of COVID. So his rookie season out of Stanford was really, really good from Paulson Adebo. Then he came into his sophomore season, and that sophomore slump happened. He had an ankle injury. He came back. He just did not look like that same guy from the rookie season. Paulson Adebo did not come back. He did not look great at moments. I mean, that Bucs game, he gave up that long pass at the end of the game. It just was a lot of breakdowns in coverage from Paulson Adebo. He just wasn't that same guy. Now, the Saints still finished second in the NFL in passing yards given up, which is absolutely fantastic considering Adebo missed time with injury. I believe Roby missed time with injury. Alontae Taylor missed time with injury. Lattimore missed time with injury. Marcus May missed time with injury. So the cornerbacks, they held up. They held up a lot. So whoever was out there, I mean, they got beat at times. Everybody gets beat, but it wasn't like, a big hole in our defense. But if you look at the resumes and just the performance from last year, I do think Alontae Taylor has the upper hand. But if you look at the overall, which Alontae Taylor only has 1 year, that rookie year from Paulson Adebo was really, really good. I think it's going to be even. I think Dennis Allen gave the nod to Paulson Adebo just because he had a more experience basically in the NFL. He played the entire season his rookie year, so I guess when going got tough, Dennis Allen went with a guy that he's more familiar with, a guy that's been in the system for over a year already, and he went with that. I think it was the wrong decision at the end of last year, but at the end of the day, we didn't make the playoffs, so it really didn't matter. I would have loved for Alontae Taylor to get more reps towards the end of the season, though. That kind of leads me to this year. Both guys are healthy starting camp. That's a good thing. Both of those guys are coming in healthy. Both of those guys are going to get a lot of reps, especially with Marshawn Lattimore probably being in and out the lineup, doing the training camp, doing OTAs if he shows up. He just doesn't need as many reps as these guys, man. You got to keep him healthy. He has to be ready for week 1. He's one of those guys that I'll talk about later where I don't need to see a single snap from him in the preseason. If he does play, great, but he's one of those guys where if he doesn't play a snap in preseason, perfectly fine with me. But out of Paulson Adebo and Alontae Taylor, man, it's really a toss-up. I think this one is a real toss-up. Like I said, Alontae Taylor maybe peaked higher in his little 4 or 5 game spurt, but Paulson Adebo has the longer resume, which is only a year and a half, basically 2 years, because he didn't play the full 2 seasons. But it's gonna be interesting. I think personally, after watching both of them, Alontae Taylor is gonna win that job. Now, it might be some favoritism going on, you never know, but just from a skill set, from what I saw on tape, I think Alontae Taylor is just a better cornerback right now. And guess what? If Paulson Adebo beats him out, perfect. Because that means Paulson Adebo had a really, really good camp. Because Alontae Taylor is not going to be any slouch. He changed his number to number 1. My man's looking fresh out there. I like that number on him. I think he's going to win that cornerback 2 position. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below, man. Who's going to win that cornerback 2 position? This is very, very early. Obviously, things can change, so no one knows what's really going to happen. But in the first versus series, man, I got Alontae Taylor beating out Paulson Adebo for that cornerback 2 spot, starting next to Marshawn Lattimore. And I think all 3 guys will have a good season. But for this one, I got Alontae Taylor. Let me know who y'all got in the comments below. As always, man, thank y'all for tuning in once again. It's the Boo Tragedies, and I'm out.
So one last time, let's make